Thank you so much for your support on Patreon, Charlottie. You too can get your own personalised shout out and early access to all content by visiting patreon.com/thewhoaddicts. In The Power of the Doctor, we witnessed something unprecedented, and no, I'm not talking about the Master's Rasputin dance, as incredible as that was. We witnessed for the second time the Doctor revisit an old favourite, But this time we're going to see this returning old face in action, fully across 3 specials in 2023. This is of course the 14th Doctor, donning the face, the look, and very much the persona of the 10th Doctor. But why? And when I say why, I'm not talking outside the narrative. Why Tennant's back, if it's to boost ratings, to set up Doctor Who for a return to success in 2024 and beyond, which so far is proving to be the case, or if it was due to Chuti's lack of availability, or it being an anniversary special, or a mixture of all of them things. I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about within the narrative. Why did the 13th Doctor regenerate into an old face? Now firstly, I'm pretty sure the 14th Doctor isn't an ordinary incarnation. This isn't a big coincidence that the Doctor has returned to not only a previous face, but a previous character completely. I'm not getting caught up in the argument of this Doctor being 10.2 or 10.5, because the numbering doesn't really matter anymore, especially following the Chibnall era. But what I will say is RTD shouldn't, and I hope doesn't, just characterise the 14th Doctor to be exactly like the 10th without any explanation whatsoever, and expect the fans to just accept it. And I don't believe RTD would be that lazy, especially now we know regeneration is literally limitless in terms of gender and ethnicity, and I trust that he's clever enough to have a reason behind all of this. Now at first, I wasn't convinced that 10 and 14 were that similar. Yes, the look and the hair were similar when we saw him regenerate, as well as using a similar catchphrase, but I still had hopes we'd see some differences, and them differences would separate the two even slightly. But following the recent trailer we got on Christmas Day, even I can't deny that these two characters or incarnations are way too similar for this to be a coincidence. Repeating quotes from previous episodes saying, "You couldn't be any more 10th Doctor if you tried." But why? Why is this happening? And if RTD has a genius reason for this, what could that be? Like I said earlier, I don't believe the regeneration from 13 to 14 was ordinary. Something's gone wrong here. And this could have something to do with the regeneration trauma that the 13th Doctor went through in The Power of the Doctor. We know that forced regeneration is a dangerous game, one that has to be executed with care and usually by the Time Lords. But in this case, the Master forced this regeneration up on the 13th Doctor, forcing his personality and subconscious into 13's body, but not his own body, as that remained in the other chamber. This looked wrong and unnatural and uncomfortable, and that it could do damage to 13's body, forcing this upon her in the long term. And this was then reversed, or forced into an additional regeneration, placing 13 back into her body and the Master back into his. This is all very messy for the Doctor's body and for her regeneration cycle and her regeneration ability, and I believe this could have caused a knock-on effect to the Doctor's next regeneration, especially with that regeneration coming very shortly after. 13's body was already messed up and, in a way, confused. This was then followed by her being brutally shot down and killed, perhaps causing the regen into the 14th Doctor to go slightly wrong, to glitch, and to go back into an old body as such. Now, of course, to argue this, we never saw these so-called effects on 13 herself. Compared to previous regens where the Doctor's clearly been in pain and the regens caused them some discomfort, this one seemed rather ordinary and straightforward and comfortable. If something nasty was going on underneath, we would have probably seen that personified through 13 in the lead up to and during her regeneration. Maybe. But I can see a logical way that the events of Power of the Doctor may have led into this incarnation of the Doctor becoming 14. Leading on from the glitched regeneration theory, the Edge may also play a part in this. In Power, we were introduced to this idea that I really loved. A symbolic place in the Doctor's mind where essentially that incarnation of the Doctor goes during regeneration and crosses in order to accept the change, so they can pass over from their old body into their new one. Here we saw past incarnations, the Guardians of the Edge as they were called, and we also saw 13 refuse to cross, instead turning back, opting to fight against this regeneration and remain in her current body. But what if eventually, regenerating on the cliff top, the 13th Doctor, when crossing the Edge, was intercepted by a past incarnation, who hijacked the regeneration, taking her body, so to speak? Whether this was down to the 14th Doctor's incarnation purposefully or accidentally falling into place, who knows? But the idea of a past or far future incarnation who was also on the Edge at that time, either stuck there for other reasons or choosing to be there by choice, falling into place as the next Doctor to 13 could make sense. The idea of a past or future Doctor hijacking the regeneration could also explain the change of clothing too, that this Doctor was already established, ready to take this place. But again, of course, like the glitched regeneration idea, if this was the case, wouldn't it have been mentioned by the 14th Doctor by now? Either when he first appeared or in the trailers. He seems to be just as confused by who he is, why he's this face, like it's just as much of a mystery to him than it is to all of us. So this would disprove the idea of him being an incarnation on the Edge, waiting to hijack 13's regen purposefully. So instead, maybe he was a confused Doctor on the Edge, throwing into this changed beknownst to him. Or maybe he did choose to jump in at this point, but has been left confused by the usual post-regenerative stress we've seen the Doctor suffer from before, and that his actions on the Edge may come to him eventually. Or maybe when 14's time is done, he'll return to the Edge and complete the regeneration that maybe should have happened initially, before he either hijacked it or accidentally fell into that place, which of course was then due to Gatwa's Doctor. We will see. But you have to say, if there was one Doctor, one body who'd have so much vanity, he'd dive into the Doctor's body and take that opportunity if presented to him, it would be the one who didn't want to go the most. That being the 10th Doctor. Now I will admit this is unlikely and the Edge may not play any part going forward, but I feel like this could be another cool plot point RTD could utilise. My final theory in today's video is rooted more into the potential narrative of the 60th than anything from Power of the Doctor, and I guess could be more likely, and it surrounds the mysterious character played by Neil Patrick Harris. Now I really want to call him the Celestial Toymaker. He looks like him, resembles him, just gives off that vibe so much, and my theory relates to something that character could do. Now the Toymaker creates worlds and situations and games in order for his victims to play and survive, and maybe due to the Doctor's vulnerable state leading into her regeneration, perhaps due to the effects of the forced regen, or the Doctor being exposed on the Edge for a prolonged period of time, the Toymaker perhaps infiltrated this regeneration, causing the Doctor to return to an old face and dropping him back into a world familiar with him, causing him to reunite with Donna Noble, perhaps knowing there'll be a risk to each other, with Donna of course being unable to remember the Doctor. This, as well as Harris's character seemingly coming across as an orchestrator or a conductor in the recent trailers, describing this as a grand premiere, suggests that the events of this story are being orchestrated and controlled by him. So maybe that's the answer. Is he orchestrating the events surrounding the Doctor, or the world around Donna Noble? It seems like it's all very much his own concoction and creation, so maybe he's used 13's regeneration as an opportunity to jump in and infiltrate the Doctor's appearance, forcing him to change into a body that he created or he already knows of, a body he knows will be familiar to Donna, which will then go in search of her as a familiar face from his past. Is this all a part of the Toymaker's grand plan to get them both exactly where he wants them to inflict whatever his end goal may be? The trailer, the dialogue, seeing Neil Patrick Harris's character waving at 14, the monsters we see, it all indicates that this is a world very much created in his image, with the 14th Doctor and Donna stuck inside it. Is this a game that they need to win and conquer? I think there's a strong chance that the 14th Doctor's current appearance has something to do with Neil Patrick Harris's character, who I'm assuming is the Toymaker, but of course could be someone else. Now those are just my 3 individual theories as to why 14 has the face of 10. I might go into more detail for each of these individual theories or introduce new theories in future videos, but do let me know what your theories are as to why the 14th Doctor is near identical to the 10th. Do you think there's a reason for this? And if so, what is that reason? Or is it a big coincidence that RTD will just brush over in a throwaway line or not even mention at all? Let me know in the comment section below and I might mention my favourites in a future video. But until next time guys, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more theory videos, and do hit the bell so you never miss a video when it drops here on The Who Addicts. Do comment as well in the section below your thoughts, and do subscribe to us and follow us and donate on Patreon so you'll receive early access to videos as well as other cool rewards too. But until next time guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.